This video is not for you unless you're me from the future. This is about how I'm trying to become a better biker. I'm going to skip right to the end of the ride. This was with Nick the Observer and Johnny, one of the associates.
How much more confident was he on that second stretch?
Yeah, definitely.
So much more confident.
Definitely.
Slow speed control was really good. Different ride.
Definitely. Definitely.
And you're not even a borderline case. You should go. You're looking at getting a first, really. You should be looking at. You're not even anywhere near a borderline case. Not on that.
Thank you.
Well above that.
Very kind words from Nick. I only put the camera on halfway through. We did some motorway work, we did some overtaking. We were on 3 different types of bike. My beloved VFR, which obviously is a sports tourer with a big emphasis on sports.
Okay, how many miles have you done on this?
20,000.
Oh yes, you said earlier 20.
Yeah, they tend to sell with very low mileage because they were very unpopular. If you get a tour on it, it's short range.
So yeah, the VFR 1200, I really like the feel of it. The fuel economy on this particular ride out was about 45 miles per gallon. In urban situations, it's kind of about 25 miles per gallon. Pretty tiny fuel tank for a touring bike. And it comes with clip-ons, which I've replaced with a kind of wide handlebar, and lots of extra mirrors, because the visibility is not fantastic. So it's really the sports end of sports tourers, but it really feels very nice. Weight very low, lots of grunt, lots of power and torque and whatever. Yeah, it's pretty good. So here we're heading out to the main road, just standing up as we're going over these humps, just to smooth them out a bit. Joining the main road, ideally trying to angle the bike towards the road so you're not 90 degrees perpendicular to it, just to make the exit a little bit easier. And off we go. In terms of road position, I'm normally going to be in position 2 to 2.5. It's a 30-mile-an-hour section, so not too dramatic with road position. We're heading up to some parked vehicles, so I'm going to start to create some space for the oncoming traffic. I think in this particular instance, I'm happy to let the car come by. They chose not to, so nice courtesy wave. Thank you very much. So in an urban environment, lots of regular mirror checks just to see what's going on all around. Lots of driveways, people be able to leap out at any moment. So we're heading towards a national speed limit area, but we're also heading towards a roundabout. So I'm not speeding up. I've cleared this junction, so I didn't need to move across the road. But I'm looking for any signs of any traffic on this roundabout. We're going to be turning right. So I'm trying to get any clues to see, do I need to stop? In this case I didn't. Able to come round, I'm taking an inside line. I've chosen to be in lane 1 but in sort of position 3, so hoping to split the hazards between the grass and the oncoming traffic. In position 3 here, giving good view, moving over to position 2 nice and early for the oncoming traffic. Having a look around wherever I can, looking for any clues through the hedges and things, but I can see that up ahead the road turns to the right, so I've moved over towards position 1. So I'm extending my view by being in position 1 here. looking for any driveways. This isn't an area that I know, and we're coming up to a roundabout. So I'm looking again for any kind of signs of oncoming traffic on the roundabout. Do I need to slow down? Do I need to stop? We're taking, I think, the second exit, which is pretty much straight on. So here I've chosen to straight line the roundabout. I can see that there's no traffic that's joining, so I'm going to go across this cross-hatched area into lane 1, assuming that's where we're going. And I'm just a little bit hesitant because I don't really know, but yep, that is where we're going. There's a number of driveways around here, so I'm trying to look around and through the fences just whenever I can see a driveway coming up to see if I can clear it or whether I need to move in case there's a potential hazard. I'm normally in position 3 towards the crown of the road to give myself the maximum safety bubble that I can, and I'm moving away from position 3 towards position 2 if there's oncoming traffic. Here I'm in position 3 as we come to the left-hander. It is blind, so I'm moving over into position 1 at this point, which I felt was the safest position to be in for that blind crest. So not the best road surface here, but it's probably safest to be over here in position 1 at the moment. Safety first and then stability and then vision. Into position 3 here as we're approaching this left-hander, and then transitioning back to position 1 for the right-hander. Possibly cut that corner a little bit. Moving again into 3, and now I'm just having a look to see for this driveway coming up whether there's any traffic. Do I need to move out of the way? No, it's clear, so I'm okay. There's a lot of street furniture, lots of street signs, lots of paint on the road, giving clues about what the road's going to be doing. So I'm looking into this junction, the car approaching, but I'll be past it before it gets there. Trying to stay out here in position 1 for that particular right-hander there. Just so I extended my view around the corner, come driving right into the limit point. One of the hazards on this particular route back was the sunlight, but it also gives some clues with the way the shadows are being cast. Staying out in position 1 for the right-hander. Coming up to the giveaway. At this point, we're actually going to do a sort of staggered junction and go across. So again, ready to angle the bike rather than being perpendicular to the road. So we're in a 50 at the moment. Come around here, think your car, into a 40. Staying out in position 3 for this left-hander, but with the option to move in if I'd needed to, moving in there for the car. To a 30. So now aware of lots of driveways, lots of risk of pedestrians, dogs and things, so less dramatic road positioning. Remembering that the key requirement is to be able to stop in the distance that I can see to be clear on my side of the road. So at 30 miles an hour, the stopping distance that I require is not that much. Again, checking this junction is clear before I go past. And we have a left turn here, so I'm coming over to the left side of the road so no cyclists or other small bikes can squeeze past me over this bump, giving a bit of space to the pedestrians. We've got a warning sign of a left and then right tight bend. So we have a junction coming up and I'm choosing to use slow control rather than rushing to a sudden stop. And I've got a pedestrian having to deal with traffic and then looking for gaps to see do I need to stop, and I don't. So much better for me to use slow control and be able to keep moving rather than stop and then be a bit of a sitting target. Similarly with this right hand turn, looking to see that I can continue to go around smoothly and that the road I pull into is safe for me to do so. Here we're having to share the road with other road users. Sometimes it's fine to give space and let other people come past, and other times I'm choosing to be more dominant with my road position. So this car is waiting. Thank you very much, car. Not that you had an awful lot of choice in it, but still, thank you. Blind crest here, so I'm in position 1 as I come around here. So position 1 or position 2 I'm relatively comfortable with, depending on whether there's a risk of pedestrians, parked cars, oncoming traffic and so on. Now into a 40. I'm trying to look up ahead at where the road goes to let me take up a position early. The other guys are zooming off into the distance. Now I'm at the national speed limit, so I get a chance to try and catch them up. But look how far ahead they've got. Wow. But a very good clear day, good visibility, able to see for a long way ahead quite comfortably. Again, slow control where possible. Straight lining the roundabout where safe to do so. I'm coming out quite wide here to extend my visibility into the road. Drifting back to position 2 ahead of that oncoming car. So a good clear view, momentum overtake to pass the cyclists. Another courtesy wave there to the car that stopped quite promptly into a 30. So yeah, seeing the roundabout, looking for traffic, checking do I need to stop? So slow control yes, but with the ability to stop if needed. And in fact here, didn't need to put my feet down. So we're coming now into a much more built up area, a lot more traffic, much denser opportunities for filtering. We also have an emergency vehicle up ahead. So having seen the vehicle, the idea is to give space and ideally stop. So urban traffic, this kind of thing, I'm pretty comfortable with. This is kind of like my daily commute, only milder. Again, checking on the roundabout, any need to stop. In this case, I will just come straight round. So with 2 associates, we take turns as directed by the observer. So at this point, Nick is just putting ahead of Johnny. That's a cue for me to also then come past, and then I'll be at the front and Johnny will be at the back. I'm just looking for a safe space to come past. Obviously I'm riding my own ride, I'm not just following instructions that I'm given. I'm happy to come past there. Lovely clear road now. So position 3 when there's no other traffic, position 2 if there are oncoming vehicles. Moving over into position 1 for the right-hander, being mindful of the driveways. Clearing the junctions. I did feel on this ride that my transitioning of road position was working quite well. I was clearing junctions where I could see in time, giving space where I couldn't, and I think joining up the different hazards, and it felt probably for the first time quietly efficient. Nothing was particularly rushed, nothing was particularly forced. It seemed to have a bit of a flow. Following this car, I was looking for potential overtakes, but again, not forcing them. Oncoming traffic here, so obviously that's going to rule that out. Need space to be able to come back in safely, and once the car in front is up to the national speed limit or close to it, then there's no advantage to actually doing an overtake. So instead I chose to adopt the following position. All of the time I'm thinking about my ride going at the speed that I'm choosing. I'm not having my speed controlled by the vehicle in front. So I'm looking here for any clues about the roundabout. Nick needed to, I think, confirm which way we were going because I don't know this area at all. Third exit, 1, 2, 1 is closed, 2, 3. 3 is that one. It's almost kind of straight ahead. I'm looking for a space that's safe to pull out into. And then looking ahead at the other traffic, this red car doesn't make the right decision in terms of priority. But really they should have waited. But it's something that I think all of us, myself and Johnny and Nick, were able to see in time and deal with no particular concerns. On this road, again, I'm looking for potential overtaking opportunities. But there is up ahead a woman with a dog crossing the road and then a drop in the speed limit, so no benefit at all to that overtake being done. And back to a more urban environment. We're heading up to some lights. There's a cross-hatched area with a broken line, so it is entirely safe to enter, entirely legal to enter if safe and necessary, and in this case, necessary for me to make progress. Quite pleased just to be able to merge in and filter quite smoothly. That's quite common in my daily commuting, so I'm pretty comfortable with that sort of move. The test, of course, is really whether something is not only safe and legal and gives an advantage, but also that it's not perceived to be aggressive. You don't want to antagonize other road users. So I felt the filtering fitted all those things. I think everyone was pretty comfortable with it. The downside, of course, is being 3 riders and not everyone able to make use of that filtering opportunity. They were getting a little bit left behind. I was trying to keep an eye on them in my mirrors, but it did feel as if I needed to find somewhere safe that I could pull over briefly and let them catch up. Probably that garage would have been a good place. But this will do. And here we are, the happy trio again. There's a signal for me to go past when I think it's safe to do so, and off we go. Again, another courtesy wave for the car that's been held up. All part of showing courtesy to people who are sharing the road. Here I can see there's a couple of cars slowing down, they're looking for various turnings, and I'm contemplating an overtake, but partly there's oncoming traffic and partly I was just a little unsure from the body language and driving position of the car in front quite what they were going to do. It was a 30-mile-an-hour area, so really no huge advantage to overtaking them anyway. Coming up to this junction, again I can see people I need to share the road space with, some cyclists. And I can see a sign for Ripley coming up soon, and I was wondering if we were going to take the road or not, because I didn't get a signal from Nick till a little bit late, so I think I slowed down a little bit more rapidly than I otherwise would normally need to. back into a national speed limit area, but in front of the car ahead is a cyclist, so I'm just making sure that they've got room to deal with that hazard before I kind of get caught up in what they're doing. So I chose to go past the cyclist, but I did go past very slowly. I'm sure it's nothing more disconcerting than the vehicle bombing past you if you are a cyclist. Here I'm using some of the breaking of the light and dark to be able to get a sense of where roads are. And we get now caught up a little bit behind this van. I'm trying to look around the van, see if there are any vehicles in front. Again, looking for opportunities to overtake if it is safe to do so. A sign for a series of bends, so at this point I was wondering if I got close enough, would I be able to overtake just after a bend? And in this case we had pedestrians and other road users around, so not really close enough at all. Looking across the hedge I can see some oncoming traffic, so again, no real point trying to make that overtake. I'm probably a little bit far back at this point, should an opportunity arise to overtake. I'm not somewhere that I can capitalise on it. I'm aware of the car in front, so I'd need a reasonable distance to be able to get past the van and possibly the car for there to be a real meaningful advantage. So here we're coming up to a humpback bridge that has light controls. I'm choosing again to go slowly towards this rather than rushing up and braking so that I can keep some movement and I can keep some control in what I'm doing. I'm hoping that by going slow enough the lights changed, and in this case they did. No need to stop. And again, I'm thinking here about overtaking opportunities. Trying to see, are there oncoming cars? Is there any opportunity to come past? But there is this car park here on the right. You can see the van is being slowed by the car turning. And I'm just wondering, is there enough room to come past? Could I have done it? Possibly, but I couldn't really see enough past the bend to know if it was clear. So I chose not to make that overtaking manoeuvre. And actually there was a car, so possibly it might have been okay, but possibly isn't really safe enough to make me want to take that risk. We're heading back now on what's becoming a reasonably familiar bit of road, coming into Ripley. I was quite pleased on this ride that by and large, I managed to hit all of the speed limits exactly dead on when they were transitioned. So just where we've been going from 40 to 30, for example. I'm keeping my vision up. I'm looking for opportunities to be able to just move smoothly and efficiently. This is an area where oncoming traffic can cause other traffic to bunch up, so I'm being quite careful, just making sure everyone has space to come past. I'm going slow enough that I can look into the road and clear it, and ideally not have to stop. I'm back to Ripley Village Hall. It was a good ride. So yes, thank you to Nick. That was really good, and to Johnny. That was great to have another pair of eyes and feedback on the ride. So yeah, good. My scores have got better and better over time. Bit of a blip on the over the weekend ride, and this was the first ride where I got commended for all categories and told very clearly to stop wasting everyone's time and go and do the test. So thank you, Wey Valley, and thank you to Nick and to Johnny in particular.